every great man is a great woman. But we refuse to believe that these female deities stood behind any man, no matter how great. That's right, we gave you the 10 most powerful gods of mythology, so of course you knew we'd be back for the most powerful goddesses as well. Now while we call upon these impressive goddesses, why not hit that subscribe button? And while you're at it, click the bell so you don't miss out on our next mythological archive.
Number 10. Pele. Known as their goddess of fire, lightning, dance, wind, volcanoes, and violence, Pele is one of the most famous Hawaiian mythological deities and is often called Madame Pele out of respect. She is known for being both a goddess of creation and destruction, and is even credited in mythology with the creation of the Hawaiian Islands themselves. As the myths say, she defied her mother's wishes that she become a water goddess by playing in the fires from the underworld. Her tales are full of drama and romance, and she is said to have the appearance of a shapely young woman, a small white dog, or an older woman. Number 9. Inanna. Hailing from a lesser-known pantheon, the goddess Inanna was the ancient Sumerian goddess of love, sensuality, fertility, procreation, and war. She was also later known as Ishtar, and the myths tend to differ slightly in her portrayal. Some refer to her as a coy young woman in an arranged marriage to her husband, and some refer to her as a promiscuous femme fatale who was jealous and spiteful. In all stories, however, she was shown to be completely aware of the power she held over men and completely confident in herself and her abilities. Inanna is often shown with a lion or wearing men's armor in her role as a war goddess. She has been compared to many well-known goddesses from other pantheons such as Aphrodite, Athena, Demeter, and Persephone. Number 8. Parvati. In Hindu mythology, Shakti is the feminine energy within the universe, and the Hindu goddess Parvati is one of its many forms. She is the goddess of families and love, and is famous for her devotion to the god Shiva. Her other names or forms are referred to as Durga and Kali. The myths tell of how, after Lord Shiva's first wife committed suicide, Parvati seduced him from his seclusion in a cave and inspired him to care about the world again. Her powers were said to have arisen from the dedicated methods she used to win his heart and completely master the physical needs of her body. Parvati is also known as the mother of Ganesha. Number 7. Mazu. Known under many different names, such as Mazu, Mazu, Ama, and Tianhao, among other honorary titles, the Chinese goddess of the sea, Mazu, is considered to be one of the most widely worshipped in the world from this pantheon. As the story goes, a woman named Lin Mo Niang, who had an extensive knowledge as a healer, was made into a goddess after performing many miracles, such as settling storms at sea. Famous for her kindness and mercy, she died at the age of 28 after simply telling her family it was time for her to leave. She walked to the top of a mountain and a rainbow appeared, said to have been a dragon gifting her with her powers. Mazu is now the guardian of seafarers, fishermen, and sailors. Number 6. Frigga. One of the more famous deities on this list, the Norse goddess Frigga, or Frigg, is the highest-ranking goddess in their pantheon. She is the goddess of love, destiny, and marriage, Odin's wife, and the god Baldur's mother. Frigga was a seer and could see the future, as well as being credited with weaving the clouds as a sky goddess and weaving fates as well. As queen and all-mother, she holds so many titles and duties that it would be difficult to name them all. Her name means beloved, and her sacred animal was the goose. She was famous for being nurturing and tender, and was also a protector of women in labor and those with fertility issues. Number 5. Hera. Also known as the Roman goddess Juno, Hera was the Greek goddess of marriage and birth, as well as Zeus's wife and the queen of Olympus. In spite of her respectful titles, she was often said to be very jealous and vindictive towards the many lovers that her husband took, as well as his other children. It was said that Hera married him against her will, and they fought often because of this. Hera is usually shown as a beautiful woman who wears a crown and carries a lotus-tipped scepter, and had several famous children such as Ares and Hephaestus. It was said that even her husband, Zeus, feared her slightly, as her temper was legendary. Number 4. Kuan Yin. Known to Buddhists as the goddess of compassion, Kuan Yin is often referred to as the Divine Mother. Compared often to the Virgin Mary in Christianity, Isis in Egyptian mythology, and Parvati in Hinduism, she was said to have been born from a ray of light and dates as far back as the year 406 CE. Kuan Yin is shown in many forms and even different genders throughout the myths, often appearing as a slender woman in white robes, but known in some stories as a man. She's known for being a bringer of children, and many place a profound trust in her healing powers and mercy. Kuan Yin is said to be so completely free from any pride or vengefulness that she hesitates even to punish those who deserve it. Number 3. Isis. With a name that means throne, the Egyptian goddess Isis is one of the more famous deities in the pantheon. As the goddess of fertility, motherhood, marriage, magic, and medicine, she is considered to be among the most important Egyptian goddesses. Isis was said to be the daughter of the earth god Geb and the sky goddess Nut, and married to the god Osiris, king of Egypt. She was depicted as a human woman who wore a vulture headdress, a jeweled collar, and a floor-length dress. Isis was historically such a famous goddess that a cult developed to worship her and spread throughout the majority of the Greek and Roman empires. Number 2. Persephone. Another famed Greek goddess, Persephone was most well known as the queen of the underworld, wife of Hades, and goddess of the spring. In her most famous story, she was abducted by Hades and forced to marry him, causing her mother, Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, to refuse to let crops grow and cause winter to begin. While in the underworld, Persephone swallowed several pomegranate seeds, meaning she would never be allowed to leave. In her mother's grief, a deal was worked out allowing her to share her time between the earth and the underworld 6 months at a time. When she comes back to Demeter, the winter thaws and spring begins. But when she is with Hades, the earth turns to autumn and then to winter. Number 1. Venus. Commonly associated with the Greek goddess Aphrodite, Venus began as the Roman goddess of cultivated fields and gardens, and then later took on the roles of love, sex, beauty, and fertility. She was well known for her many affairs and was also charged with the protection of young girls' chastity. While she originally had nothing to do with Aphrodite's legends, she eventually took them on as she had none of her own to begin with and became associated with the qualities she is best known for today. Venus was said to have been born from sea foam after the god Saturn castrated Uranus and his blood touched the sea. Her two main lovers were the gods Vulcan and Mars, and is famously the mother of Cupid. Loved what you watched? Don't forget to give the video a like and comment below to tell us about your favorite mythological figure.